Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me. So, if you guys have been, like me, missing Tom Petty, you really want a new Tom Petty album, but unfortunately we know he passed away in 2017. Well, then you need to check out this album here. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, Vagabonds, Virgins, and Misfits. Of course, Mike Campbell being the guitar player from the Heartbreakers of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And this album, his third one, he has really come into his own on it. I'm going to break it all down, talk about it, do an unboxing and everything in just a bit. But before we start, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also, leave a comment, hit like. All those things do help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you turn on notifications, you'll never miss an episode, including things like this, where we're doing a review for the brand new Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, Vagabonds, Virgins, and Misfits. So as I said, third studio album, but the band itself, the Dirty Knobs, goes back a ways. Mike had been playing with them while in the Heartbreakers, just in downtime and, blow off steam, that kind of stuff. It was more of a fun little side project, but they didn't record anything, not at least until the passing of Tom Petty in 2017. And at that point, they began to take it a little bit more seriously. But Mike Campbell did a stint in Fleetwood Mac from 2018 to 2019, which I actually thought he would end up going off and doing that. But following that, where he says he is done with that part, and of course now Mick Fleetwood's saying that the band, in fact, is done, he released 2 albums with the Dirty Knobs. So kicking off with Reckless Abandon in 2020, and this one here actually just was under the name Dirty Knobs, although now they have retroactively added the Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs name to that album. 2 years later, External Combustion from 2022. This album here, to me, was a great step up above this one here. And now for this new album, this is the one where it's sort of like, bands don't really get given time to grow and adjust. And, early on bands that didn't make their big hit albums until second, third, fourth in. I mean, think of bands like UFO. There's other bands out there like that, even Aerosmith, if you want to think about that, because they didn't really break big until their second, third, fourth, and so forth. But a lot of bands like that out there, ZZ Top being another one, they're just all kind of coming to mind. Well, that's how I feel about this one. This album here, Vagabonds, Virgins, and Misfits, it really has all come together for them. I think partly too in that there's a member change. The 2 other albums had Jason Sine as their guitar player, but for this one here, they have Chris Holt joining them. And I don't know if he just brought some new energy or really whether it is that Mike Campbell himself just feels more at home, which I do think is a big thing here, that he has finally settled into being the front man. So this album here was produced by George Drakoulias, who's worked with the Black Crowes and of course Tom Petty, but on this album here, 11 tracks on it. Really, there's only 10 songs because there is like a 45-second outro on it, but the rest are songs on here. And so we've got Mike Campbell on guitar and vocals, and he comes really close to replicating the Tom Petty sound, both being from Gainesville, being from Florida, having that southern swagger in their vocals. And it was a little jarring on the first 2 albums, but I think he really came into his own as a singer on this one here. As I mentioned, Chris Holt on guitar, we have Lance Morrison on bass, and then Matt Long, or Laug, I'm not sure how to say it, L-A-U-G, on drums. And the interesting thing is he is out touring with AC/DC. So if you're out seeing AC/DC, you're actually seeing a member of the Dirty Knobs up there as the drummer. There's a lot of guests on this album too. We got Chris Stapleton on here, Lucinda Williams. We got former Heartbreaker fellow member there, Benmont Tench. And then we got Graham Nash, who was on the first single that came off from the album Dare to Dream, which is one of the really great standout tracks on here that is just absolutely, has a beautiful message. It's a beautiful sounding song on it. So all in all, on this album here, like I said, I really think that Mike kind of comes into his own. He is now a front man. So before he was a side man, he was just a guitar player, backup singer. He did sing one lead song with Tom Petty, but all in all, he was a side man and an amazing one at that. So don't let that sway you at all. Here, he has finally risen to the challenge of being a front man on here. And it just sounds so much more confident on this album than the first two. I also think musically and lyrically on here, it's miles above the first two albums. We get the classic slide guitar from Mike Campbell on here. It's just all over it. And as I said at the opening of this video, I think this is the closest we are ever gonna get to brand new Tom Petty material. I can hear so many songs on this that Tom would have loved, that he would have turned into Heartbreaker songs. Opening track on here sounds like a classic Tom Petty style song in the sense that it's called The Greatest, and it's actually done like it's live. I don't think it really is. I think they just added the crowd noise. But you think it's going to be an intro, an opener, and it is a full-on song, but it just puts you in the best mood for listening to what he's saying to the fans. You're the greatest. Thank you for being there and coming along for this journey with me. Really great. Track number 2 is another standout song on here, Angel of Mercy. That one there's probably the most classic Tom Petty sounding song that he has done so far of the 3 albums. Innocent Man, track number 8, is another one that I just really like. It's just a good straight ahead rocker. And then number 10, My Old Friends. He sings all the names of alcohol, like Jim Beam. He's like, oh, my friend Jim Beam, and you know, my friend Johnny Walker. So he sings about friends, but they're actually all names of drinks, and it's just kind of comical. And again, it's that tongue-in-cheek way that Tom Petty would do things too. So I really enjoyed this. I don't think he is trying to mimic Tom Petty on this, but in fact be himself. And of course, remember, he co-wrote most of those songs with Tom Petty. So I think he's got the right to do the sound, the style, the tongue-in-cheek, the whatever it is that brings us closer to the Tom Petty. And when I keep saying Tom Petty, I really mean the Heartbreakers, right? But of course, everything was always under Tom Petty's name. And even when he did solo work and Mike Campbell was there, yeah, it was just Tom Petty. But let's take a look at this. So front cover, this one here to me really screams 1980s Tom Petty, just like the music videos and the style of stuff like that. So when I see something like this, to me, very, very inviting. I did like the previous album cover a lot, but I couldn't get into this one here, even though this is the same artist that did, I believe it's Revolver for the Beatles. So, you know, there's some cool tie-ins there, but I think this is the best album cover so far. All of these are cardboard packaging, and at least they're keeping them all the same. Of course, we get some great band shots while recording it there, booklet in here, CD in there, and backside of the album with a great picture of Mike Campbell. Let's take a look at the booklet. It has the same cover on it. And we just get lyrics and stuff. Tells you, you know, all songs are written, I believe, by Mike Campbell in here. I don't know if there's any more photos, credits, and stuff like that. Close-up shot of the guitar, because, of course, and there. Why is there no picture on this? Totally wasted blank space on the back of the album. But all in all, bottom line on this thing, really good album, solid, great, straight-up rock and roll album that feels good from start to finish on it. I was totally surprised because the first 2 albums really never clicked with me. I kept thinking they were getting better and they were all right and I would enjoy them in the moment, but I never reached for them. I never went back to them. This album here, I've gone back to week after week since it's come out. I think it's been out like at least 2, maybe 3 weeks now at this point. And I just enjoyed it so much that I thought I gotta do a review for you guys. I've gotta tell you how much I am loving this album and, you know, definitely give it a shot. Those of you that watch my channel that know Anthony Coviello, Sound Exchange, we do the discussion topics and stuff. Wasn't gonna give it a shot, not into it sort of a thing. A guy in the store was talking about it. He buys the album. I speak up. I'm talking about it. He's like, I got to give it a shot. Popped it on. Could not believe how much he enjoyed it. So, you know, I think it just says you got to give this album a shot. So I'm telling you guys, great album. Give it a shot. I think it will be worth your time and energy if you check that out. Have a lot of fun with it. Thanks for watching this review. Stick around, check out other things on my channel. I have tons and tons of reviews, countdowns, top 10s, and other great stuff like that for you. All right, everyone, take care. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.